good example of not allowing a tough defensive night to impact how you all leaned into your identity offensively?
We had a great offensive game. And like I said, I thought we got really high quality shots, great ball movement, great pace. A lot of the things that we've been trying to move forward in offensively, we got into the game last night. If anything, I thought the ease of that might have loosened us, especially early in the game. Sometimes when the game is grittier and tighter, Denver's a good example. It kind of shifts your focus onto the defense because it's your only path to winning. But when the water's flowing offensively, it could take your eye off of some of the details, and that might have happened a little bit early. But it was a really good offensive game.
One of the things you all had going offensively was turning second chances into catch-and-shoot threes, and I was just wondering whether that's coordinated. Are there rules on relocation and that type of thing, or are guys so instinctual on that right now that it's kind of free flow?
We try to treat the offensive rebounds like a fast break because the defense is not set, and so it's almost like a little mini transition opportunity. And then it hasn't always been a 14-second shot clock on rebounds, but that's been a rule change that's made that even more incentivized because back in the day you could pull the ball out and have a fresh 24, but now if you do that, you're going to be in the second half of the shot clock again. So that's another reason to kind of fast break out of those.
Just going back to the defense and from yesterday and the fundamentals that you thought were lacking, did anything show up in particular in film after going back and looking at it?
It was a little bit of everything. It was transition early. I thought some of the fouls on Young, we did a good job out in Atlanta, I think, containing that. And in our recent stretch of games, having a ton of free throws to the primary players. It's been a lot of second chance and bigs and stuff like that. But, we had some looseness there. We were loose with our coverages at times. We were loose. It was just a little bit of everything. We just weren't as tight. And some of it was Atlanta. I just thought they played in a really good rhythm. They kept pressure on us. They made us pay when we didn't do those things. And so, I don't want to, take anything away from how they played either.
And I know playing small has its takeaway or its drawbacks, but when it comes to second chance points and limiting opposing teams and their ability to get on the offensive glass, is there anything you want to see kind of tightened up or shored up on that end of the floor?
All this stuff is it's not all created equally. There was a play last night where Capella just reached over Kenrich, got the ball and laid it in, and it's those are the ones that you just have to live with if you're going to play that small. It's really the ones that are more controllable, long rebounds. But I thought, the thing that we did last night pretty well is we offensive rebounded, and so that's one way to kind of cut into their second chances is if we can offset it with second chances of our own, which I think the second chances last night were 21-16. So it's not like we got completely mauled. We actually had more offensive rebounds than them, and we outplayed them in the minutes where we were smallest and they were biggest by a significant margin. I think Kenrich was plus 19 and he was mostly at the 5 last night. So. That continues to be something that we're trying to discover and we're trying to take advantage of right now. And it's been, like I said, a net positive. And now it's just a matter of tightening up on the margins when we do that.
Got it. And wanted to ask specifically about J-Dub. Obviously, he's been thrown in a lot of different situations this year. Are you starting to see anything start to click for him as of late in terms of all the different situations he's been in?
Yeah, I think his play speaks for itself. He's a great player already, and he's got a very bright future. We have a lot of belief in him, and we're really excited about where he's going. The thing that stands out recently is I thought in the Orlando back-to-back, we were coming off of Boston. We went to Orlando. It was a really tough travel, and he was pretty lethargic in that game, and we challenged him the next time we were in that situation in Chicago. We were coming off the Philly game. It was a big win, and then we traveled, and it was a tough back-to-back. And his response from one experience to the next I thought was really good. And then after the Denver game the other night, he played 28, 30 minutes in that game and just wasn't as aggressive offensively as he needs to be or as we'd like him to be or that he's capable of. We challenged him on that, and I thought turning the page to last night, he started that game with his foot on the gas. And so that's probably been the most impressive thing to me about him is that when you point out an experience to him and you challenge him to improve, he gets that turn pretty quickly, and with the amount of games you play and how long a career can be, that's like a learned skill. And if he gets good at that, then he's going to continue to improve.
It's wingspan. We think of block shots, things of that nature. Was that just wingspan that's still on Trey at the end, you think?
A little bit, yeah. I think we were sending a double team to him. And so I thought Young got a little distracted by that. He probably took his focus off Jalen and was more worried about where the ball was going to go next. But yeah, I mean, he's got long arms, and that shows up all of his dunking, his shot contesting, his ability to get threes off. That's what excites us about him defensively. Is he's got a great profile. He's got great size physically. He's got long arms, and he's also like really intelligent.
Go ahead.
We spoke about this a little bit last night, but over the last 3 games, I think you guys are being outshot at the free throw line, 94-43.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Some of it, like I said, with the rebounding, they're not all created equally. So there's times where Aaron Gordon gets a rebound, he's under the basket, and we're given a hard foul to not let him lay the ball in and make him go earn it at the line. 2 out of those 3 games, we've been playing from behind late in the game, and we fouled strategically in those situations, so a couple of the free throws are there. But there's a lot of them that are within our control that are just like cheap fouls that right now we don't have the margin to be able to give those up, and those are the ones we have to own. I also think that we've gotten fouled at times and it hasn't been called, and we've got to continue to play through that, but that's frustrating as well.
For J. Will, what have you liked so far, and how can he get better? What can he do to get better in the second half of his rookie season?
J. Will?
Yeah, J. Will.
I think he's on a good trajectory. I thought, he's done a good job. All the guys that have gone to the blue have done a good job with those minutes, and he's no exception to that. I think defensively, he's improved significantly since the beginning of the season. That was a huge point of emphasis for him. Offensively, I think he's gaining a better understanding of how to play inside of our system. He's obviously a really instinctive player as a passer and transfer guy, but learning how that fits in with the rest of the team is important. He just, he's like all these other guys that are not in a consistent rotation role, and you've got to be able to have the mental toughness and discipline that when your number gets called, you go out there and play a very predictable style of play and bring your strengths to the team. He's done a good job of that, and he's also got great examples of that. Looking around the gym, Jeremiah's done a great job of that. Rich, Wiggins are all examples of that, and he's cut from that cloth.
Looks like Jeremiah's trending the right way. Any updates on his injury?
There's no target date at this point, but he is trending the right way. I mean, he's running around, he's dunking, but you don't go from limping to playing, so he's on his return to play.
Mark, you just mentioned the blue and guys improving defensively. I know Lindy's kind of homework assignment there was defense. He's right now, I think, in the top 40 in steals and blocks in the G League during the regular season. I know that's not everything about defense, but what are you seeing from him kind of in that homework assignment defensively?
He's done a good job, and even with us, we're putting that lineup on the court when he's with us where we've got Shea and then Isaiah, him, Trey, and Muscala, or some combination of that. We've done that a lot, and when you do that, those guys have to handle matchups, and he's done a good job of that, and so when he goes to the G League, a lot of the focus is defense. And just keeping himself sharp offensively. He's just the same thing as I just said with J. Will. We're using everybody. We want to deploy different guys at different times for different reasons. But their end of the bargain on that is they got to stay sharp and ready, and he's done a great job of that.
Is there anything else you can tell us about Jeremiah's ankle injury? Because it feels like he missed an abnormal amount of time for an ankle sprain.
Only that I'm not a doctor, but every sprain's different. Especially when you haven't sprained the ankle before. I think it's harder to recover from. Baisley had a similar one earlier this year where he had an ankle sprain that lasted a long time. So everybody's body reacts differently to those situations, and it's really just about them going through certain checkpoints to get themselves back, and everybody navigates that. Everybody's different. Everybody's body is different.
Last night Mark said defensively it wasn't just one thing, it was kind of death by paper cut. What did you see looking back at the tape or feel out there on the floor last night of things y'all could do at a higher level tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely wasn't our best defensive outing. Pretty much everything, like he said, defensive rebounding, that's what stood out to me the most. Their second chance points that kind of hurt us. They pretty much got whatever they wanted. We fouled a lot, put them at the line a lot. So yeah, it was just a mixture of a lot of things that we'll clean up tomorrow.
offensively, you all were really good. And one thing you all did was really convert on three-pointers off of second chances. Is that coordinated? Is that something that you guys think about ahead of time, or is that kind of just instinctual reacting off those offensive rebounds?
Pretty much both. The coaches they want us to have like a fast break mentality whenever we get the offensive rebound. So pretty much find cutters, find open 3-point shooters, and we've been pretty good with that throughout the season.
And then just Cleveland tomorrow. Any thoughts on that matchup, especially given their size in the front court?
I think it's going to be pretty much the same type of game it was yesterday. As far as just the size, yesterday they had two solid bigs with Capella and Collins, and tomorrow it's pretty much going to be the same way with Jared Allen and with Mobley. So we're going to have to come out and rebound. They got some dynamic guards as well, just like Atlanta. Look forward to taking on the challenge.
Getting out to a strong start has been a key for you guys all season long. Offensively, you put up 43 points in the first quarter yesterday. Just what was kind of the mentality, and what tone were you all trying to set offensively in that game?
Pretty much like you said, just come out aggressive. Have a hit first mentality. So we want to come out and be confident and just pretty much put as many points on the board as we can, especially in that first quarter. We also want to take note of the defense. So we want to put up big numbers, but we don't want to give up big numbers like we did yesterday.
One thing you guys have been really strong at this season, especially when you're undersized, is offensive rebounding and kind of everybody getting in on that action. Just what have you seen from the group and how different guys have been able to kind of scoop up those second chances?
It's been huge for us. I think that has won us a few games just off offensive rebound. If you look at the flow of the game. It's something that the coaches emphasize to us, and that they want us to do more because they feel like it's a strength of our team. So any chance we can get in there and get a few offensive boards, a few extra possessions, I think we're going to try to do that.
For you, is it more just about like being there to maybe get the loose ball if it comes your way, or is it more kind of like strategy, like, oh, it might be coming off this side of the rim?
Both. Just got to go every time. That's just be consistent with going every time. And just kind of tracking the ball, seeing where the ball is coming off the rim. Just having an instinct.
You guys been kind of small ball all season. Kind of get used to it. That team's always seemed to be bigger than you guys.
Yeah, I guess you get used to it. You definitely feel it the next day. But yeah, no, you get used to it. It's just about just going out there and competing at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're not combative, I guess. Is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I see that you were working out or practicing with Chad. From what you've been able to do with him, what do you just think of his game so far?
He's competitive. I'm looking forward to playing with Chad. That's why I was telling him earlier. I'm looking forward to having a big guy like him out there to be able to protect the paint down there. And I haven't seen a lot. We played each other in the summer, so I haven't seen too much. But I know that he's dying to be back out on the court, so I'm looking forward to it.
You're leading them, taking charge in the league, and then either Joe does that, Trey does that, and Jay Will does that from the college and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you guys practice? Like, do you teach them or teach each other or anything?
No. We watch film on it. They do a good job of kind of having it around the facility of us taking charges. So those guys kind of have that already in their game. But if they see other guys like me taking charges, it enhances them and makes them want to take charges as well. So it's contagious.
Jay Will's just getting started, but what do you like about his game so far?
Super high IQ for someone his age. He competes at a high level. I think that in a few years you guys will see how his game will expand. and translates in the NBA. You know, I think he's a much better shooter than I thought he was going to be. But so far, man, I've been super impressed with Jay Will.
Seems like he talks a lot on defense. Am I catching that right?
Yeah, he does, definitely. He has a loud voice. And you know, that's a strength of his. So, you know, we count on that, especially in that back line of the defense. So, yeah. Man,
That's rare for a rookie, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's one of his traits, is being vocal. And I think that it'll be very helpful for the team moving forward.
You think he has the arm to throw that go route?
For sure. He got the arm. Got a cannon on.
Who's your QB1 on the roster?
Me.